Hello, Rotarians and guests. Come on in, take your seats. Welcome to the folks. We're going to get started here. We're going to try to. Welcome to the Rotary Club of San Jose and meeting number 5,519. We're getting going, folks. My name's Matt Breaker. Well, that's not what I was looking for. Bad place to pause, sorry. Trying to get a quiet room. My name is Matt Breaker. I have the honor and privilege of leading our club and our meetings for this Rotary year, so welcome everyone. We've got a fun meeting show for you planned today, so thanks. I want to start off, as we always do, by thanking today's greeting line, which was the RILA Interact Committee, which is chaired by Jason Laker and Steve Preminger. They're doing a great job with multiple schools. Let's give it up for them. Doing a great job, yes. They're great. I gave them a couple challenge coins as we settled in. Okay. Let's go to the trap, folks. It's tough. We've got traveling mics today to start things off. We've got Chris Sir and Teresa Frank. Chris, who we're going to hear more, we're going to get to have a full introduction with a little later. Chris, tell us again who your sponsor is, if you would. He's in the back of the room, folks.
Yeah, I'm Chris Sir. My sponsor is Ron Zierich.
And your day job is what?
I work at Merrill Lynch. I'm a financial advisor.
Terrific. Welcome. And Teresa, where's Teresa? Oh, hello. Hi there. Welcome. And who was your sponsor?
Arthur Weisbrot was my sponsor.
Okay.
Or is my sponsor.
And your day job activities are?
I'm a retired dentist.
Oh, wonderful.
And I play piano sometimes at Cafe Vitale at Loyola Corners.
Fabulous.
And I clean up a park every day in Sunnyvale.
I love it.
Yeah.
That's terrific. Well, thank you both for taking on the traveling mic duties. Let's go ahead with guest introductions. If you have a guest, please stand up with your guest. We're going to start on this side of the room and work our way that way. Starting over here, Matt's going to let me know where he is with folks. Do we have anyone with guests?
Are you standing up?
I know, I have with guests.
Oh, he's standing up.
Randy Zeckman, take it away.
Mr. Breaker, Randy Zeckman, Clean Roofing and Clean Solar. I have a guest today. His name is Arya Atrezen. He's a young man who's just graduated college and is trying to figure out how he can be more of a service to our community. So we thought we'd bring him here and see what happens.
Seems like the right place to be. Welcome. Thank you, Randy. Excellent. Yes. Okay.
Hello, James Leventhal. My sponsor is Kirk Wallachevich, who's over there. My guest is Alyssa Ray Graciano, who is the curator at MACLA, our neighbor over here at ICA San Jose, and she is serving this year as an adjudicator for the Lee Weimers Awards. We'll see everybody in the fall. It's not going to be a lunch, it's going to be an evening event.
Wonderful. Thank you so much. Past President Fernando, right up front here.
Thank you, President Baker. Matt, this is my friend Bill Dawson. He's a survivor from the Altadena fires down south, and he's up here visiting with us. Thank you.
Well, welcome. Yes, had a nice chat with you.
Thank you.
President
Larry
Matt,
Stone. Past
Larry
President
Stone.
Larry.
My sponsor was Peter Carter.
Oh,
I have
wonderful.
3 guests today. Number 1, this is Administrative Professional Days, if you didn't know it. So the best professional administrator, secretary you could ever have in the world. She's here today, Lori Lamley.
Amen. Hello, Lori.
Guest number 2 is my successor. She's doing a great job. In fact, people tell me she's doing a much better job than you did, but I don't understand. Nisa Flagar.
Welcome. Boo, exactly. There we go.
And finally, the 3rd one is my wife, Carmen.
Number 1 fan. That's the way it's done. Welcome all. Alan, hello.
Hello, President Tim. Matt, I'd like to introduce my guest, Mark Schroeder. He is recently retired, just retired like a month ago from Specialized. He's been in the bike business for 30 years. He ran engineering for them. and he just retired, and he's looking for something to do.
Stay right where you are. Yes, exactly. Terrific. Jeremy is next. Yes, hello. Excellent.
Thank you, President Matt. Jeremy Shapiro, my sponsors are Matt Robin and Megan Fluke, and I just want to let you know we have a newly forming cycling committee. So you'll be at home there. We have two guests with us today. I have Cassie Shannon. She is joining us. She is an Antero top producer and your local friendly Willow Glen neighborhood realtor. We also have Jen Cretella. She is joining us. She is a legislative advocate as well as housing commissioner here, and she is joining us. Both loving to hear more about the topic from Larry today. So thank
Wonderful.
you.
Welcome to you both. Thank you, Jeremy.
Hello,
Teresa,
President Matt.
hello.
Teresa Alvarado. My sponsor was Yvonne Montes de Oca. And my guest today is my colleague at work, Amy Holgrimson. She's the VP of Business Acquisition at XL Construction.
Fabulous. Welcome. Artie in the back. Hello.
Hi, President Matt, founder and CEO of Renewable America. Artie Arian is my name. My sponsor is Matt Rubin and Mike Borer. And I brought this guest with me, Anna Fu. She's with my company for the last 3 years, and I was senior financial analyst. So it's a pleasure.
Wonderful. Welcome. And the fabulous Jennifer Van Every in the back there.
Thank you, President Matt. Jennifer Van Avery, and a very proud member of the Rod Squad. I think I was one of the last ones, so it's such an honor. I have 5 guests today, all from Republic Urban Properties, so I will introduce them. We have Stephen Ellick, legal counsel, Melissa Durkin, vice president, Stephen Christie, CFO, Brian Yee, vice president, and president of the company, my husband and former Rotary member who may be open to suggestions.
Oh my God, let's make
Michael
it happen.
Van Avery.
Fabulous. Great to see you. Thank you. Okay, I got one guest here too. Aiden Welch is right here. A moment. Aiden Welch is with the DA's office. More on him in a moment, but he will be our true crime presenter today, so more on him in a moment. Yes. Okay, let's take a second to see what's been happening in our club out and about. The Military Care Committee, if I haven't said this enough, I'm going to say it again, is just fabulous. Led by Brad Barron and Megan Tennisketter, doing great things. They had an event with San Jose State, a mixer, last week, Friday, right here in the Summit Center. And, well, we'll see if we can get the slides working. We will not get the slides working. Well, they had a great event while they're working on that. Right here at the Summit Center, lots of folks from our club on the committee and others meeting and mingling, mentoring, setting up mentoring with students from San Jose State. It was a total success, so I want to thank them for their great work. Also, we had the San Jose State Committee. Are we ready, John? Chris is coming up here to aid. We also had San Jose State's committee, which is led by Tim Hegstrom. Where's Tim? I saw Tim here today. Tim's just doing a fabulous job with that committee also. They went over, did a tour. That's one step, okay. They did a tour of over at San Jose State of the Beethoven Center. Several Rotarians went there to check that out. It was a total success as well. So we got our committees out and about doing things in the community, and let's hear it from both those committees, folks, because they're doing great things. I'll steal that. Okay. Well, we have to have the slideshow next, so just we'll see where we are in a moment. Is it working? Let's see. Can we get it up on the screen, folks? Okay, so let's go back just to see what happened. Yeah, there's our great Military Care Committee. There they are at the mixer, mingling. A couple more photos of that. Another one with them. Then we have the San Jose State Committee over at the IREF Brilliant Center for Studies, the Beethoven. They had a nice tour, learned some information, heard a nice little presentation on the piano there. And next up, folks, we have our monthly installment of True Crime Stories. Are we ready, folks? As I said, our presenter today is Aiden Welsh. He's a superstar at the DA's office. Started a few years ago doing great things, but more importantly to that, he's a new papa, so we can congratulate him on that fabulous news. He's going to talk to us about a case that happened right here in our city of San Jose, ultimately not prosecuted by our office, the DA's office, but by the U.S. Attorney's Office. But more from that on Aiden. Show some love to Aiden, folks.
Thank you, Matt. All right, hello all. So the year is 2012, and Instagram has just gotten started. TikTok isn't a thing yet, and so blogs are still the places that people go to tell their stories online. And in fall of 2012, a new blog site was posted, it appeared, with a provocative and blunt title. It said, "Lymphoma Can Suck It." And the author was 27-year-old San Jose woman whose name was Amanda Riley. And Amanda was a new mother, and she received some devastating news. She had an aggressive course of Hodgkin's lymphoma. And Amanda, she started her blog, and the writing on it was raw and it was emotional. She posted about the joys of being a new mother and the terror of not knowing if she'd survive, not knowing if she'd be able to raise her kid. She posted about everything on this blog. She talked about her course of treatment. She posted photographs of herself in the hospital, hooked up to machines. She talked about experimental treatments and biopsies. And then came the appeals for help, for money. She asked for money for medical treatments that her insurance wouldn't cover. She asked for funds so she could travel to MD Anderson for treatment. And she asked for financial support so that her husband could take off of work and spend time with her as she fought the cancer. And people responded to these requests instantly. Money came in from across the country. Her following grew. She eventually got her own hashtag online, hashtag Team Amanda. She would post photos of herself in hospital beds with her head shaved, hooked up to monitors, and the public loved it. They were there to cheer her on every step of the way. People responded instantly, donations grew, and invitations also poured in. She was invited to speak at local community groups, to go to schools, to speak at churches, and eventually donations started to come in from across the country as her following grew. But then in 2015, a reporter got an anonymous tip that they needed to check this out. Something wasn't right because the reporter noticed 1 week Amanda would post videos and photos of herself at parties and at concerts having fun, and then the next week she would claim that she was dying. The reporter gradually started to notice small cracks. Amanda would post photographs of herself, and she was bald, her head was shaved, but she still had her eyelashes and eyebrows. She would post that she was getting her brain drained of fluid, but then later that same day would post photographs of herself swimming in a pool. However, accusing a young mother of faking a cancer diagnosis can be very delicate. It can be dangerous reputationally. And so without conclusive proof, this reporter eventually went to San Jose Police Detective Jose Martinez for help. Jose Martinez worked the case meticulously. He was able to break through the HIPAA barriers that prevented the reporter from following up further, and eventually was able to unearth the truth. Amanda Riley never spent a single night in a hospital. All the doctor's notes and letters that she posted online were complete forgeries. The photographs of herself where she was hooked up to IV machines, they were taken in a local aid station for dehydration. Everything was completely fabricated. The cancer diagnosis didn't exist. And when the truth broke, the story exploded nationwide. It came out that she had defrauded the public of way more than $100,000. Articles covered it. It was on the Today Show. Some of you might know it from the Hulu docuseries. And the public gave her a name that stuck, called Scamanda. Eventually, in 2020, Amanda Riley was prosecuted and indicted by the U.S. Attorney's Office here for wire fraud. She pled guilty and she was sentenced to serve 5 years in prison. She was just recently released in December 2025. And that is the update. Thank you all.
Okay, that was interesting and upsetting. Okay, next up we've got new member introductions. We got 2 of them today. And first up we've got Peter Waite. Where is Peter Waite? Come on up, Peter. While he's on his way up here, I will tell you, we've got some fun facts about Peter up here. Favorite movie is the Rocky Horror Picture Show. Worked at the DA's office for 38 years. He's coming with his sponsor, past President Karen Sinanu-Towery, fabulous. Not often that we have someone introducing who I've personally known for 20 years, so I'm here to vouch for Peter. Fabulous guy. He's going to be a great Rotarian. He's already jumped in with both feet and very active, so glad he's joined. Looking over your fun facts, Peter, it says 1994, a Rotary Club sent you and 4 others on a trip through Italy. Best trip ever, you're saying. 1994, 30 years ago. What took you so long, Peter? It's a little worrisome there. Okay, but we're going to play our usual game of getting to know him, trying to create some connections. It's 12:30. Seems like a perfect time for an afternoon stretch. Let's all get up on our feet. For those of you who don't know how this works, I'm going to ask a series of either-or questions. Peter's going to answer them. If you have the same answers, stay standing. If you've got a different one, take a seat, but keep listening. We'll find out who's got a fair number of things in common with him and hopefully create some connections. Peter, are you ready? Yes. All right. Step 4. You can take that mic, whatever you like. Here we go. First one. We're shaking it up today. First one. Truth or dare? Which would you go for in the game? The truth or the dare?
Truth.
Truth. Prosecutor at heart. I like that. Oh, please, Rotarians. You're all standing up. Oh, my God. I don't believe that for a second. Okay. Next one. Afternoon gardening, or afternoon nap?
Nap.
Okay, we've got some gardeners. That's good. Peter is a very good gardener. So there. Okay, next one. Cook at home or dine out?
Dine out.
Oh my God. You said dine out?
Dine out.
Dine out. Okay. I like this number right. Peter is you said dine out.
Yes.
Oh my gosh, wow. Well, Peter happens to be an excellent chef. He should be on CHC. But I like this number right here. Folks, if you please, at the end of this meeting, go up and introduce yourself to Peter. Invite him to sit with you at the next meeting. Talk to him about the committees you're on. Let's create some connections. Get him fully inculcated into our club. And with that, let's everybody back on their feet for their traditional Rotary welcome.
Thank you. I wanted to thank my sponsor, Karen Sinanu, and to say that I'm really enjoying my Rotary experience so far. I especially was at the Balls Party recently. Now, Matt told me to limit my remarks to half an hour, so I just wanted to see his head spin around.
Exactly.
Thank you very much.
It's easy to do. Thank you, Peter. And thank you, past President Karen, for the sponsorship. Excellent, yes. Great new member right there. All right, we get to double it up. What does that mean for everybody? That means a little more blood pumping in the veins here. Second new member we're going to introduce today is the fabulous Chris Sir, who's been working in the back, where he's on his way up. So, folks, yeah, you had a couple bites there. Back on your feet for round 2. Let's do it again. Different questions. Got some good, interesting facts about Chris up here. He's a sailor, as you can see. Reads 50 books a year for the last 5. That's incredible. Are you in the book club?
I am.
I love it, as you should be. And he's here with his fabulous sponsor, Ron Zrake. Excellent. Thank you, Ron. Okay, are you ready?
I am.
Step forward, please. Okay, following up on that book theme here. Fiction or nonfiction?
Fiction.
Oh, wow. Okay, that's good. Okay. Would you rather attend Coachella or the Met Gala? Coachella is an outdoor rock concert, for those of you not in the know.
Coachella.
All right, my kind of person. That is not surprising, I must sadly say. Okay, we got one more here. Oh, because he's a sailor. Here we go. Would you rather take a multi-day sailing trip or just sit by the beach?
Multi-day sailing trip.
Okay. Should we go one more? No, we're gonna go one. checking. It's a difficult decision. We're going with this number, folks. I like this number. Again, if you're standing, you've got things in common. Please go up and introduce yourself and invite him to sit with you, to join your committees, get him fully acclimated into the club. And as I've said previously, the full bio for both of our new members and other members is posted in the lobby. It's on the website, and it's in social media. And with that, one more time, folks, everybody stand up, our traditional Rotary welcome.
Awesome. I absolutely appreciate being part of the club and part of the group with everyone, and I'm just excited to be around everyone that is about being better for the community. So thanks, guys.
Thank you, Chris. And thank you, Ron, for the sponsorship. Ron is a regular with that, so fabulous. Okay, thank you so much. Did we get a? We'll get that in a bit. Okay. I know you're dying to know, so here were the other questions, just because I want to reveal what they were. One was gourmet dining or casual pub food. Who's the gourmet diners? Raise your hand. Okay, I like the Michelin star folk. The next question was small group or big party? Small group. Let's see the small group crowd. Oh, we've got, okay, very good. Good to know for future weeding out. Excellent. Well, maybe we should rephrase that. I'm so sorry. Okay, now we get to go on to some other stuff and have a little fun here. Studio 54. May I draw your attention to the back, please? I like the way they look. That was Boogie's shoes, by the way.
As many of you know, the Mulcahys and the Salases are hosting a Boogie-licious Studio 54 party on May 9th from 7 to midnight at the Mulcahy's house on Mulberry Lane. Tickets were sold through the Gala silent auction for $150 per person, and we've sold all but 5 to some of the groovinest Rotarians in the world. Having heard that quite a few folks would still like a shot at tickets, we've agreed to also slightly oversell, which means that we have about 10 more spots. So if you want a piece of the juicy action, go to the auction website, which is still live, to purchase while supplies last. And everyone, please note that admittance to Studio 54 is only granted to somebodies, or at least people who look like they might be somebodies. So please dress appropriately.
Something tells me those outfits were already in the closet, but who knows? Okay, that's going to be fun. I'm signing. Oh, there we go. Okay, thank you, Carl and Marianne. That's going to be great. We've got some other fun things coming up. So we're going to hear something about a fun event that Fun and Friendship's going to be putting on. Night at the Symphony. Please welcome Robert Massey. Show some love, folks.
I don't know what to think about that fate theme for me, but thanks. On behalf of Fun and Friendship, now for something completely different, we're delighted to invite you to our first ever Rotary Night at the Symphony. It's going to be Saturday evening, June 6th. I know many of you already attend Symphony San Jose concerts, so for that, thank you. If you haven't been or you haven't been in a while, this is not your grandmother's symphony, so we really invite you to come out and see what's going on. So June 6th, $75 gets you the best seat in the house. It also gets you invited to a special reception on the terrace pre-concert and at intermission with cocktails and light bites, and as well as a post-concert exclusive artist, Meet the Artist invitation. So you're welcome to come to that. You could follow the QR code. There's flyers out in the hallway, or go to symphonysanjose.org. The promo code is Rotary75. Tip is to enter that code before you select your seat. But this is going to be our final concert of the season. And just the next week, the 2026 FIFA World Cup will be launching in our area. To get everybody excited for that, we've got Symphonic World Cup. So we've got an all-star lineup of musicians that are going to be taking you through music from across the globe. We're going to have the symphony's first ever performance of a Danish work, Carl Nielsen's Helios Overture. Then we go to Argentina. Our conductor's from Argentina, Carlos Viu. This is going to be Ginastera's fiery and virtuosic harp concerto. Our soloist is Catherine Ciocci. She's principal harp of the San Francisco Symphony, and she is widely regarded as the hottest harp virtuoso of her generation. So that's going to be a great treat. And then we conclude with Shostakovich's in Russia. Shostakovich's grand masterpiece, his Fifth Symphony. This has got one of the best finales in all of symphonic music. It was written in defiance of an oppressive Stalinistic regime, and it's still regarded as a beacon of hope for humanity in the face of oppression. So we invite you to come out June 6th, Rotary Night at the Symphony. Rotary 75 is the promo code, and we'll see you there. Thank you.
That is going to be a fabulous night, so please sign up, and I hope to see you there. Thank you, Robert. Okay, a few announcements before we get to our main speaker. Let's see. Yeah, we're in the fireside season, folks, and for those of you who don't know what the firesides are, those are where we set aside maybe a week or 10 days, and we have Rotarians who open up their homes to welcome Rotarians for events that are purely social, opportunity to meet and mingle with Rotarians that you know and get to know some that you don't. We had one last week that was just off the chart at the Ball's home, John and Paul's Ball, and now we've got another one that's coming out on May 24th. Pam Foley and Mike Foley are going to be hosting a fireside dinner that evening at 5 p.m. Asian influenced backyard resort-like setting, dine next to tranquil koi ponds or under the grand red pergola. Dinner fellowship provided. Sign-up opportunity is in the lobby, so I hope to see you there. That's going to be a wonderful night, and thank you, Pam Foley, for hosting that. The Fun and Friendship Committee is doing it again. Another hike is set for May 9th. I've said this before, I will repeat it. The hikes are just, again, the meetings, in my view, the meetings, they're great, they're entertaining, they're interesting with the speakers, but to really get a chance to meet people and spend some time talking with them, it's some of these other social events, and these hikes are just a great opportunity to spend some time with people. And again, you talk with the people you know, it's a great opportunity to meet those that you don't. On May 9th, there's a hike 10 a.m. at Rancho Canada del Oro out in Morgan Hill, so I encourage you to sign up for that. It's about 4 miles. And May 13th, folks, is the barbecue. Today is the last, or tomorrow's last day for the earliest and best discount, $65. As you've heard before, you get the appetizers, you got the bar, you got the dinner, you got live music, you got fellow Rotarians. Please sign up for that. We're going to have some live music. It's going to be a great event. And you may recall that in the fall barbecue, we had a pie contest. Terry Chapman won that pie contest with an amazing apricot, correct? Peach pie. It was delicious. I tried it, I lost. And this time we're going to be doing a cake contest. Yes, let them eat cake. You can thank Pat Riley for that. That's a little fun. So if you have some cake baking talents, please sign up. Red velvet, chocolate, vanilla, lemon, what am I thinking of? Yes, there's one other, but Peter, where's Peter? You made it, you had something that made it in the Sunset magazine, correct? Cheesecake, published in Sunset magazine. I want to see that in the entry. So please sign up for that. That's going to be fun. Next week, we've got the fabulous Jeff Rosen in the house talking to us. That'll be very good. And today, our main event is none other than past President Larry Stone. And to introduce him is Dave Cowan. So show some love to Dave, folks.
Terrific. Thank you, President Matt, and good afternoon, fellow Rotarians and guests. It's my pleasure to introduce our speaker today, past President Larry Stone. but truly Larry needs no introduction to this club. In fact, he's been a member of our club for 31 years, and to my knowledge, he's the longest standing member of the program committee, for which I really appreciate his guidance and experience in doing what we do. Larry recently retired after serving our community in elective office for 47 years, spending the past 30 of those years as the assessor for Santa Clara County. And from this recent photo, I know it's recent because I found it on the internet. Larry, I must say you look better now than when you were working. So retirement is treating you well. Among his many successes in office, one truly stands out. The fact that Larry kept getting reelected every 4 years. And indeed, I believe President Trump got the idea to put his signature on tax refunds and now the dollar bill based on how well the gimmick worked for Larry in signing the tax assessment letters he sent to all of us every year. But Larry didn't want a formal introduction for his talk today, so I asked him just to share 3 things that we in the club might not know about him. So number 1, he and his wife Carmen spent the night at the White House with President Bill Clinton, his wife Hillary, and their daughter. Number 2, he got to know Fidel Castro on a U.S. Conference of Mayors trip to Cuba in 1977. And number 3, he chatted up Muhammad Ali after a chance encounter in an elevator. Now, you might agree with me that any one of those stories is probably more interesting than hearing about California and Silicon Valley economy and real estate markets. But we're stuck with what Larry knows best. So please join me in welcoming Rotary to a special song that Matt has picked for him.
Oh, I'm in my comfort zone. Thank you very much. I'm missing that, you know. At any rate, well, let me say this. Trying to cover the U.S., California, and Silicon Valley economy, including the real estate markets, in just 20 minutes means that I'm going to throw a lot of information at you. I don't expect you to absorb it all. If you simply listen for the things that interest you, I think you'll find this presentation more useful. With the hundreds of speeches I've given over the years, including this annual speech on the economy, the evaluations are always more positive when the economy is strong than when it's weak. So I'd appreciate it if you didn't shoot the messenger this year. Silicon Valley is a global magnet for high-risk venture capital. When times are good, they're very, very good. But when things turn down, the descent can be dramatic. As Warren Buffett famously said, it's only when the tide goes out that you learn who is swimming naked. Despite some very real challenges, California remains one of the most powerful economies in the world. We are still the 4th largest economy globally, producing about 14% of the U.S. GDP. Household incomes remain well above the national average. That said, however, California's future depends heavily on the performance of large technology companies and on the federal, domestic, and international policies, particularly those of the Trump administration. So, where are we right now? California's job market is weak. Since 2020, employment has grown just over 2%, compared to nearly 5% nationwide. So, taxable sales have been flat for several years. Inflation, combined with tariffs, has hit the economy hard. The Consumer Price Index surged in March, the highest in almost 4 years. Unemployment nationally is 4.4%, but in California it's 5.4%, one of the highest in the country. Beacon Economics has said many times that the lack of affordable housing and aggressive immigration enforcement has limited the state's ability to grow its labor force. Every day we read about Bay Area companies eliminating thousands of jobs. Saw some yesterday, saw some today. Tariffs deserve a very special attention. They raise the cost of goods, hit small businesses particularly hard, reduce demand, and ultimately fall on consumers, especially middle and low-income households. Trump's aggressive and often erratic trade policies, including tariffs on imports, has paralyzed consumers and businesses. You know, consumers are always the victims of tariffs. At their worst, tariffs can contribute to stagflation. So if you remember the early 1980s, you know how damaging that can be. Let me be clear, however, we are not in a recession today, but the outlook is very uncertain. Surveys show that more than 1/3 of California business leaders believe we are either headed to a recession or we're already in one. Labor is another major issue. Mass deportations are inflationary. They shrink the labor force, increase costs, particularly in agriculture and construction, two sectors that California depends on. Roughly 1/4 of California's workforce is foreign-born, 1/4. Labor disruptions slow housing production, raise costs, and worsen the housing crisis. The U.S. dollar, the symbol of stability, safe haven as it's called, has weakened against other major currencies all over the world. A weak dollar also increases prices for American consumers. California has added millions of jobs since the pandemic, but paradoxically, our labor force has shrunk by 193,000 workers. We have labor shortages everywhere. Teachers, nurses, police officers, construction workers, even fast food workers are all in demand and short supply. Housing costs and increased retirements as the population ages are the major reasons for some of that. Many left hospitality and service jobs for better pay and predictable work schedules elsewhere. Retirements surged during COVID. Now, demographics really do matter. The growth in U.S. population dropped sharply between 2024 and 2025, a decline of 1.4 million residents, but more importantly, an estimated $86 billion decline in household spending. This, ladies and gentlemen, is a serious problem. The Gen Z generation is smaller than millennials. The first time in U.S. history, there are more older adults than children. The nation's birth rate is down by more than 25% since 2007. And life expectancy has fallen to its lowest level since 1996. California's population is aging rapidly, while birth rates are at historic lows. The number of residents 65 years and older has increased by 32% since 2012, and children are down 13% during the same period. Boomers, grew up in households of 3 to 4 children. Millennials are having an average of 1.2 children. So simply put, we will not have enough workers in the future to pay the taxes to support the increase in retirees. Without increased legal immigration and productivity gains from automation and AI, California relies on immigration. It's a requirement here to survive. Gen Z generation is smaller than millennials. So, foreign immigration is not just a statistic. It's essential for keeping California moving forward. Essential. 2/3 of tech workers are foreign-born. 2/3. So how would I describe today's economy? Well, volatile, of course, uncertain, complex, ambiguous, and certainly unpredictable. J.P. Morgan CEO Jamie Dimon has repeatedly warned that geopolitical instability and erratic foreign policy creates enormous uncertainty for business investment. He recently said that America's $38 trillion national debt is not sustainable and could spark a sharp economic downturn, leading, of course, to a depression. Venture capital investment is critical, as we all know, to Silicon Valley's success. After an 80% decline in VC funding in 2023, Bay Area VC investments abruptly recovered in 2024 and 25, complete up over 190% in 2 years. A record 23,640 patents were granted to Silicon Valley companies last year. I believe that the outlook for Silicon Valley economy is bright. Electric vehicles, battery technologies, AI, and clean energy will keep Silicon Valley high on the list of economic successes for the foreseeable future. So now let's turn to real estate, because that's where the economy becomes tangible. Across the Bay Area, office buildings, apartments, and hotels have experienced loan delinquencies, foreclosures, and distressed sales. Many properties have sold for a fraction of their previous values. If you read the Mercury News today, you read about just that fact. Hotels have been particularly hard hit. Business travel, historically the backbone of hotel revenue, has not recovered. Hotel revenues were down 60% last year. The absence of conventions, reduced international travel, and economic uncertainty have created a doom loop for the hospitality industry. The Signa by Hilton in downtown San Jose, formerly the Fairmont, was seized by its lender last year. But refinancing hotels is extremely difficult due to the weak cash flow, high interest rates, and soaring insurance costs. Restaurants are even worse. Nearly 4 out of 10 are not profitable. Many national chains have closed hundreds of locations. Carl's Jr.'s, Wendy's, Jack in the Box have closed hundreds of stores, and several sit-down white table restaurants right in this area have folded. Consumers are dining out less and trading down to takeout and delivery. Retail looks very different than it did just a few years ago, as retailers consistently change to adjust to consumer demands. Online shopping continues to grow rapidly, yet brick-and-mortar retailers, and you'll find this, brick-and-mortar retail sales account for more than 80% of retail sales. 80% of retail sales are still done in stores. Downtown retail has suffered as work from home has reduced daytime foot traffic. Downtown San Jose can feel very empty during the day. But interestingly, nightlife after 5 p.m. has rebounded abruptly and strongly. Class A malls with luxury dirt brands are doing well as they diversify their tenant mix with movie theaters, entertainment, restaurants, fitness, and even pickleball. Lower tier malls, not so much. Successful retail is less about products today and more about recognizing the lifestyle preferences of American consumers. Suburban retail is outperforming urban retail. Costco, Walmart, and Target are popular with one-stop shoppers. The size of the average retail store in the U.S. is the smallest in 17 years. The U.S., I believe, is simply overstored. E-commerce has driven demand for industrial and logistic facilities, particularly close to population centers, for faster, even same-day delivery. Amazon's market cap is equal to the market cap, and listen to this, of the other 15 retailers combined. And those other retailers are Walmart, Costco, Home Depot, Target, Lowe's, Best Buy, and 10 others. Think about that. Many believe that Amazon, Google, Apple, and Facebook are abusive monopolies and that our markets are no longer competitive. Google has an 89% market share and accounts for 6% of the S&P 500 all by itself. Apple owns 4 of the 5 biggest apps and 57% of the U.S. smartphone market. Facebook has more than 3 billion subscribers. That's more than the 2.3 billion Christians worldwide. Now let's talk about housing, which is the most important issue as far as I'm concerned. The past 2 years has been the least affordable period to buy a home in nearly 50 years. Home prices in California are up over 30% since the pandemic, and mortgage rates have surged. This, combined with economic uncertainty, has caused the residential housing market to cool. In the Bay Area, for every 3 jobs created, there's less than 1 home built. Household income in Silicon Valley now requires almost $400,000 in income to afford a median price home. That's after a 20% down payment. The average age of first-time home buyers in Silicon Valley, first-time home buyers, is 43. Compare that to Austin, Texas, where the required income is closer to $86,000, not $400,000, to buy and purchase an equivalent home. So, if you're a young engineer choosing between Austin and Silicon Valley, where would you choose to live? The following Silicon Valley high-tech companies have a significant presence in Austin: Apple, Google, Meta, Oracle. Oracle actually moved its headquarters from Silicon Valley to Texas. IBM, Cisco, NVIDIA, Intel. Should I keep going? All of them have major facilities in Austin, Texas. With astronomical home prices and high interest rates, many potential home buyers have concluded that renting is better than buying right now. Mortgage payments are 30% higher than apartment rents. But here's a paradox. California home prices have increased 9% in the last 3 years, much higher, of course, in Silicon Valley. But home sales are 24% below the Great Recession time. Institutional housing investment is being targeted by local governments and by the Trump administration in an effort to ban large institutional investors from purchasing single-family homes. California has 1.3 million investor-owned homes, the second highest in the United States. In Silicon Valley, in Santa Clara County, 47,000 homes are investor-owned, which is 14% of all homes in the county. This housing imbalance is primarily the reason I believe that Silicon Valley faces a very slow decline unless we dramatically increase our housing supply. Everybody wants affordable housing, except in their neighborhood. Apartment markets have been hindered by the high cost of electricity, exorbitant property insurance, which are increasing faster than rents and inflation. San Francisco and San Jose, however, are the top performing apartment markets in the United States, with rents nearly double the national average. Senior housing, of course, has an excellent long-term outlook, of course, due to the aging demographics. Let's talk about office markets. The office markets remain the most trouble of all. About 1/4 of all Bay Area office space today is vacant, 1/4. San Jose's return to office rate is among the lowest in the country. Return to office rates in New York, Miami, Atlanta, and Dallas are all over 85%. And San Jose is closer to 50%, near the bottom of the 35 major metropolitan areas in the country. Most office sales are distressed sales. A beautiful office building in downtown San Jose sold for 61% below its assessment recently. Another office building sold for 77% less than the price paid for it just 5 years ago. Investors with capital are buying up office properties at deep discounts. I guess they're betting on a recovery sometime. As the values of commercial properties drop below their assessed values, this could imperil property tax revenue critical to cities, counties, and school districts. Recently, tech and AI startup leasing surged in San Francisco and Silicon Valley to a lesser extent. San Francisco, in fact, leads all office markets in leasing volume in the United States. One bright spot, you guessed it, AI. Data centers are booming. Demand is unprecedented, constrained primarily by the power availability and getting, listen to this, getting the parts for these monster power-hungry centers, which most of them are made in China. And ironically, China is the prime target for U.S. tariffs. Go figure, huh? AI is transformative, but also disruptive. Many studies estimate that a significant number of jobs could be automated over the next decade. That presents serious economic and political challenges. And finally, let me address the so-called California exodus. Yes, more people are leaving California than arrived here in recent years, but this is not a crisis. Population losses have slowed, and last year the state actually grew slightly. What is more concerning is that those leaving the state took billions in taxable income with them compared to the taxable income the new Californians brought to our state, a 30% reduction. California's future depends on the housing supply and restoring population growth. Let me repeat that. California's future depends on housing supply and restoring population growth. You know, there are many things that affect the loss of population besides California's fleeing to Texas, Arizona, Washington, or Florida. A decrease in births, reduced immigration, a rise in deaths, and fewer people coming to California and Silicon Valley. I discussed all of those things earlier. So the final question I have for you, should you be concerned about the ethical, economic, and social risks of artificial intelligence? Indeed, you should. The potential for AI is enormous, and it is also here to stay. It's not how we should adapt, it's how we strategically manage this new technology. Bill Gates, the founder of Microsoft, recently said, and I quote, "AI is the most profound change in my lifetime, a change to humanity." The concerns are serious and profound. Ethical and social inequality and accountability when something goes wrong. Misuse by bad actors that can be weaponized to manipulate public opinion. And there's always privacy and surveillance concerns, the job loss and displacements, and the disproportionate share of those jobs will be white-collar jobs, especially software engineering jobs. I just read this week that a financial services company whose productivity went from 25,000 lines of code per month to 250,000 lines of code per month because of AI. Finally, the ultimate outcome, I think, of this whole thing, SI, superintelligence, may be difficult or impossible to control. So these are my observations today. In this kind of an economy, it could change tomorrow. In fact, I made edits to this speech just this morning. So if we have any time, I'd be glad to ask questions.
Yes, we've got some time for some questions. If we get the traveling mics. Right over here.
Larry, thank you for depressing me about my upcoming retirement. So we have a lot less children that are going to be paying taxes, and we have boomers, I'm the trailing end of that, all retiring. At some point, they're going to begin to die off. And when that happens, the population of California is going to really start to plummet. When is that? When does that point begin?
I'm not a demographer, so I don't know, but I mean, it's obvious the things I talked about. If I had 4 kids, and I think that number of 1.2 children that the younger folks are having now, that number comes from about my speech last year, I think. So it's even much lower than that. Gen Zers are just not getting married. They don't want kids if they do get married. And then we're shipping people that did a lot of the work to detention facilities or back to their homeland. It makes no sense.
Thank you.
That's the best way I can answer it.
Are we ready?
Hi, Minneapolis changed their zoning laws in the last couple of years. If miraculously San Jose changed their zoning laws, would that help decrease the housing costs?
I'm not familiar with what their zoning laws are. My feeling is that San Jose has done as much
for single family.
Huh?
Single family
yeah.
home zoning.
I mean, where's the land for it? You know, it costs too much. If the average age for a first-time home buyer here is 43, I bought my first home at 29, and most of the people in this room did too. You can't solve the housing project without multifamily housing. You can't solve the housing project without a certain portion of those affordable housing. And every day I read a story about a community filing suit, banding together to stop good, well-built, affordable housing. My partners and I own 500 units of affordable housing, half of it in San Francisco, half of it in San Jose. Very low-income folks, very successful. Never had a problem for 20 years or more that we've owned them. So if you build them right and you manage them right, they really work. A lot of affordable housing, particularly older affordable housing, is because it's not managed good, and people get very upset by that, and I agree with them.
Bonnie, right over here.
Hi, Larry. Thank you so much. It's always a treat to hear your perspectives.
Thank you.
I have a question about the housing that's being constructed right now, and quite a bit of it is in our neighborhood. These are very small units. They're great for early employers, or early employees, I should say. But if we want those families to stay, and some of them are having children, I'm happy to say our granddaughters just bought at 30 their first homes.
Congratulations.
Unfortunately, they're in Washington. But at least it's a start. One even described her walk-in closet as a potential nursery. Whoa! Marv and I just jumped off our seats with that.
So what's your question?
But I'm concerned as you see these. Do you see a progression for the first-time homeowner or the first-time home buyer being able to buy a home that will sustain the family? And then my second question isn't a question, it's a comment. Since you quoted Bill Gates, I would like to quote Bill Gates also. Several years ago at a seminar, he said, if we want to get ahead of what's coming, we need to be sure that every robot pays the same amount of personal tax that the worker would have done.
I'm not going to get into that.
Okay, Artie, right over here.
Hi, Larry. So thank you for the great presentation. Very informative. So I was on a conference last week, and I was speaking on 2 panels, and it's all about the growth of AI data centers, and I like the way that you were pointing it out. So there's all kind of challenges because of that, but one thing to mention is in California, we have about, I would say, less than 4 gigawatt of new build-out of data centers compared to Texas that has over 100 times more, over 400 gigawatt. So the question that I have is, can California do more on becoming more attractive in building out AI data centers, and will it address some of the challenges that you were pointing out?
Okay. Here's what I believe. we need to manage this technology, and that includes the data centers. We're not going to eliminate them, but we've got to do a better job of making sure how they're built, how they're managed, how they're regulated. I mean, you know, the high-tech folks here said no regulation on AI at all. Well, that's ridiculous. And we'll have regulation, but not like it normally is, and that's after the problem occurs. Then the politicians step up and solve the problem. So that's the only thing I can say about that. There's a lot to be learned about AI and a lot to be learned about the development of data centers and a lot to be learned about how we deal with them.
Past President Larry Stone. Let's hear it, folks. Let's take a quick photo right over here.
Okay. Got my pen. Okay, thank you.
Okay, folks, so a couple quick announcements while I get things back set up here. Next week, we've got Jeff Rosen talking about public safety. In the lobby, we have some sign-ups for some of those things, including the Studio 54 previously mentioned. And our walkout music today, just by coincidence, and it's not political, is Blame Texas by Cody Johnson. And with that, our meeting's a wrap. This show is over. Thanks.